or selling a classic car, head to historics.co.uk or click below for a free valuation.
All smiles. Yeah. Hello. Wowzers. That's a bit of kit.
Thank you so much indeed. I've just been enjoying the delights of Lambo, the Gallardo Superleggera. Of course, Superleggera means?
Super light.
Yeah. Which is what they call you, I think, Matthew, isn't
Yes,
it?
on a diet. That's exactly what they call me.
Well, I've been thoroughly enjoying more horses in this car than will appear, I'm sure, at Royal Ascot next month.
But before that, of course, we're going to be here on the 27th.
With our auction, next
We are,
auction,
yes.
yeah.
And there is still time right now to consign cars for this auction. So if you are watching, please follow the links below, get in contact. There's no reason why you can't consign for this particular auction. But why don't we leave Tom to have a look at this Superleggera, and I'll take you back for the 70s.
Back in time.
Back in time with this Lamborghini Urraco.
Urraco, cool.
Right, enjoy. See you later.
Thank you.
I still can't get over the whirling, lovely noise of that engine. It's so fabulous.
Oh.
So the amazing thing as well about that engine is I can quite literally reach out and touch it. It's just there.
That is insane.
And it's why we can hear it so much when you're on the accelerator. But bearing in mind, this has had full engine and gearbox rebuild in 2021 with Colin Clark, who's one of the foremost Lamborghini specialists.
They've done a great job, honestly.
Does it feel nice and tight?
It does.
Was it?
Really does, yeah.
Comfortable?
Oh, now I've got a dog leg 5-speed gearbox, so which I think it just adds to the experience
The
of
Lamborghini nature of this Urraco. Oh, listen to that.
That's so high pitched for a V8.
That's not like an old Mustang, is it?
No. Wow, that is lovely.
They get 250 brake horsepower out of that 3-litre V8. I wouldn't have expected it to sound quite like that.
No. So they had 3 engine choices, a 2-litre, a 2.5 and the 3-litre. I think I'd have had to have gone for the big engine.
Yes, always go for the top.
Yeah. So about 150 miles an hour top speed, something like that.
Couldn't imagine doing that now. That would be something back then. That's quite a lot for what they would at the time was sort of designed to be almost like an entrance level sports car to their lineup.
Yeah.
It was competing with the Maserati Merak,
Ferrari Dino,
and the Ferrari Dino.
Yeah. So this was sort of Lamborghini's more accessible, sort of Grand Tourer type 2+2 coupe.
So sort of before the Jalpa, but it's definitely very Lamborghini.
Yeah.
How are you getting on with your rev counter and speedometer there?
So ergonomics was not something that Lamborghini had ever heard of, I don't think, in the 70s. So I've got a rev counter down by my left knee, a speedo by my right knee. I have got this quite bizarre deep dish.
It looks like something from a
steering
bumper
wheel.
car.
Yeah.
It's a death trap, really.
And then I've got my pedals really offset.
To the right. This is like lounging position that I think.
Yeah,
arm out the window, looking at the Italian girlies with a cigarette. That kind of relaxed Italian style maybe. And of course, do you need to see behind you?
Well, this thing I can't see really very much around me at all. There are no wing mirrors, door mirrors, and what I can see behind, half of it's covered in those amazing slats.
Well, if you're in Italy, all you care about is how fast and how forward you can go and how the car looks. Why would you want to put some ugly wing mirrors on it? You got to give it to the Italians. They just style over form over everything. Yeah. And but it's what I love about Alfa Romeos, Lamborghinis, Maseratis. It's just so much more soul.
Yeah, 100%. Lamborghini, they need to be seen and they need to be heard, and that's exactly what this car does.
Exactly. And this particular car, so it's £64,000 to £74,000, I think is the estimate
at auction. Yeah,
it's had a lot of money spent on it. In fairness to the owner, he's really looked after it. This trim, it feels brand new. It was done in 2014. So as I mentioned, the engine and gearbox was out fully recommissioned and serviced in 2021. And listen to it.
Oh, that's great.
And it's been looked after by Colin Clark, who is the foremost specialist in these Lamborghinis, really.
The power delivery is really smooth and strong.
Lovely.
So really great. And it's so comfortable. You've got those whacking great big tyres.
It's amazing how nowadays we're so used to threads of rubber.
Yeah.
And every time you hit a bump, if you haven't got air suspension or softened dampers, you feel it through your spine. But these old supercars from the 70s just absorb it. And then, I don't think they're any worse for it because we feel like we're doing 100 miles an hour at 40.
That is so true. I mean, I wouldn't like to push this super hard round the corners because, I'm not trying to keep up with the Gallardo Superleggera or anything like that. This is a very different experience, but one that I'm thoroughly enjoying.
I mean, the engine differences between the two are amazing. One's V8, one's V10, and one's V12, but this V8 doesn't give me V8 feelings.
No.
It's completely opposite to the V12, where in the DBS it's very noisy, very torquey, and very simple power delivery. This just feels like it wants to be driven and pushed. It's not bad. It's on modern roads at all. Plenty of pickup, plenty of power.
Plenty of style.
Yeah, it's a hell of a push for that fifth gear.
I know, I'm right over on your side.
I've noticed you touching my leg, don't worry.
And just in case you didn't know what car you were in.
Yep, the nice badging in there just to give you that really good indication that you're in a Lamborghini Urraco. Right, thanks for the ride, Vicky. Tom, from the 70s to the noughties. Should we take this for a little spin?
Yes, please. Thought you'd never ask. Let's go.
Right then, so 2011
Yes.
Lamborghini
Gallardo Superleggera
Superleggera.
Gen 2. I've driven one Gallardo before, but it was a rather tired Mark 1 car.
So, why on earth aren't these the same value as the 430 Scuderias?
I think it's just the power of the prancing horse, because if you look at them, intrinsic value-wise, arguably this will probably last longer. There's a lot of Audi bits in this.
Yep.
There's a big fat V10 in there, which is arguably more exotic than a V8.
So possibly the initial things that draws everyone back from buying them or from seeing them is probably the one thing that's going to drive them on to being a little bit more longevity and more valuable.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Superleggera is obviously, it's 100 kilos lighter than the standard Gallardo. Loads of trick bits in it, and obviously this being the Gen 2 car.
Everything's carbon fibre in here.
Yeah.
There isn't much that isn't carbon fibre.
Even everything's lightweight, even these things. It's chaos. And actually this has got the carbon bucket seats as well.
Carbon bucket seats.
Fixed, full carbon back.
This whole tunnel is carbon, the doors are carbon, the wing mirrors are carbon, everything's carbon fibre.
Instrument clusters, the whole lot. Obviously 430 Scud is single clutch box. This has got a single clutch e-gear box, which is kind of an automated manual, if you like. There is a trick to it. I think you either just paste it in Corsa and it just sorts it out.
Yep.
Or you can kind of lift off mid-gear change. I think that's the
and
technique.
sort of get the nice change
you
rather
can-
than that dip and go.
Like with a manual car, you find yourself just sort of challenging yourself to do smooth shifts. You kind of do that with this as well.
The seats are firm, but they are hard. The ride's not bad though. This is a bit bumpy around here. I do like all of this Alcantara though. It does look kind of a little bit more upmarket from the Gen 1s I've been in.
I think when you look on how many left, there's like 150 of these around.
Not a great deal of cars, so it's also relatively small production.
Yeah, and I dare say it, and I'm going to probably offend people at this point when I say it, this is one of the only modern Lamborghinis that isn't chavvy.
Well, what I like about these is the standard Gallardo is a little bit boring. Oh, that's a noise, isn't it?
That's a good shift.
Yeah. But the standard car's a little bit, I think, a little bit too Audi. Put a little bit extra on it, and I think suddenly the car
to 10 miles
becomes
an hour.
a lot more Lamborghini-esque.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these are very definitely a collector's car. They are for the collector niche, because if you've got 150 and you just want to go and bat around in a Lambo and upset people that you used to go to school with that you've got a Lamborghini, you just go and buy a Huracan because you don't care. You just want something that's basically just a noisy Golf that tells everyone you've done really well.
Yep.
But this is very definitely a collector's item, just like the 430 Scud. You don't buy a 430 Scud just to show off that you've got a load of money.
No, it's a bit more the connoisseur's choice, isn't it?
I mean, you achieve both aims. Buying one of these, you've not done badly. But I think these are definitely great value. compared to a 430.
The mileage on this one's just over 20, is it?
See, nice and smooth.
Did well there.
Yeah.
It's got a lovely engine note.
It's very, very, very nice. You can't help but smile.
Any car that makes that
simple
noise.
minds.
Yeah.
So cool. So it actually revs just over 8,000 RPM with that, obviously, that naturally aspirated V10. And we're gonna not see, I don't think, that V10 again from Lamborghini unfettered without the help of some sort of electric Dyson-based instrument in there.
I think that's inevitable across all brands. The V10s, the V12s, even the V8s are starting to get fettled away, taken over by electronic wizardry.
I mean, it makes, by most metrics, a better car, but car people are rational, illogical creatures.
And especially this is not a day-to-day car.
No.
So it is something that you want to be irrational, you want to be loud, brash, you want it to sound like that, and you want it to be, and actually we're all looking at our residuals and how much they could be worth, and it generally is half the price of a Scuderia.
It really is. Yeah, I can't believe the price differential between the two. I don't actually know build numbers with Scuds, but I can't remember the last time I saw a Scud or one of these on the road. There really aren't any of them about. This being the 570-4 as well, obviously it's four-wheel drive, so it's slightly less crashy than your Dash 2 counterparts. You can hand-foot it and it will pretty much keep it in the straight line. You've got Audi to thank for some of the four-wheel drive cleverness in there. It's actually 562 brake, not 570, but that'll do it.
It's not bad on a car that weighs so little.
No, and I think that Audi element will mean that actually there are a lot of parts in these that there's kind of workarounds. If you take it to Lambo, you'll probably get mulched and munched on bills, but there are loads of workarounds.
As they get older and they become more about specialist care rather than main dealer care, which we all know is a thing. Your main dealer doesn't look after older cars. That's not their job. That's not their own. It's specialists then become into their own, and they know the hacks.
And they won't replace bits within larger bits. They will just say replace the whole thing.
Of course.
The dealers, but the specialists actually know their way around these. So the bills aren't as scary as you might think.
So this one's about 120 to 130. I think we're looking at the guide price. Yeah. Actually, it was only consigned 2 days ago, so it is really fresh to us.
Nice.
It's, I think, 20,000 miles on the clock. It's got a really lovely service history. I think 5 owners from new, which is relatively low for a car of this age. Yeah. It's clearly been very well cared for. It's immaculate, really. Yep. And the kindness of the owners at lend us it for today has been fantastic because it's sat alongside that Urraco. Yeah. And it's a real yin and yang for modern and classic. This is very usable, although be it something you're not going to use every day, it is very usable. So having a look through the service history as well on this, so it's recently been cared for by Autofocina, who are an Italian car specialists for Ferraris and Lamborghinis. There we go. They actually serviced it in December of 2022, cam belts and all the special bits and pieces done. So not much in the way of bills up front for anyone that owns the car, which is nice to hear, of course. It's got that lovely glass rear engine cover, doesn't it? That comes with LEDs.
I know the LEDs was an optional extra on top of the glass.
Just to look a little bit cool.
Just lights up the engine bay.
And there's got that all-important button down there.
Oh, you got lifter.
Especially if you're driving through places like this with any kind of speed bumps, nose lift.
I'm actually really, really, really surprised how pleasant this is.
It's not raw at all, actually, considering. I mean, if we pop it in Corso, I'm sure it'll hunker down and become a lot more crashy and a lot more aggressive. But in this mode, really placid. So you could drive it around town and you could just show off to your friends. Equally, press the Corsa button and you can be a real yobbo on the track. What do you think on future values? Do you think we've got mileage in this one? So if, let's say, sub 150, crikey, I think that's a good price. Car that could be worth 250. Oh.
Yeah, I think over 200k for a nice one of these. Absolutely well optioned, like this one is. It's pretty much got everything, I think. And they came with a lot of carbon. I'm not sure it came with this much from standard. Whoever bought this originally, I think, went to town. Yeah, this is very definitely my favourite kind of era.
It's that
car.
It is that. We've said this before, but there's a teetering point where technology became very intrusive. Yep. And at this level, actually, it was much the aid and less the intrusion.
Yeah.
Granted, the gearboxes now are better, but perhaps less involving.
Yeah, very definitely. Because I think this era of car, the auto boxes also do involve you.
Yeah, you do have to do something. As you said earlier, you're trying to select the right moment to change that gear.
Yeah.
rather than just expecting the car to just sort it all out for you. And as wonderful as that is, we can't drive to the car's limits anymore because they're too fast.
Everything's at 20 anyway.
So you need to be doing something. That was great, Tom. What a piece of kit. Right guys, I'm going to leave you with your V8 and your V10. Meanwhile, I'm going to go and get the V12 that I bought for myself here today, and I'll catch you in a little bit later. And the V12 I've bought to this auction is the fantastic 2009 Aston Martin DBS, and this one with a manual gearbox. Now the reason I love these cars so much is not only the looks but also the sound. 510 brake horsepower, and of course was the car that was used in Casino Royale. So it's a bit of James Bond. Now what I probably should do at this point is wander over to the other guys, join them and see how they've got on with their Lamborghinis. Right. From my fancy V12, have you guys decided yet which Lamborghinis you'd like to take home?
Easy choice for me.
Easy for you.
Yeah, you knew I was going to say that.
Not quite so easy choice for me, but I will go old school. I'll go 70s classic.
Sticking with the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, if you would like to see these cars in the flesh, then please come down to the next Historics auction, which is happening on May the 27th. You still have got time to consign your car, so you can get it in the auction. So have a free valuation if you click on this link down here.
As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, you follow on all streaming platforms for the wonderful podcast that this trio here get involved in, and also make sure you're following on Instagram because you get a sneak peek of all the cars ahead of the next auction before it goes in the fancy catalogue that goes out to everyone ahead of the auction.
And it is super fancy.
It's very nice, it's very weighty, nice like GSM on the paper or whatever it is, it's lovely. Anyway.
Right, well we best get these cars off of Ascot property, otherwise they'll kick us off. So you lead the way, Vicky.
Roger that.